packing for Jonah in the hospital bag. So this is a blanket. I have 3 little outfits for him. These are newborn. The one on the bottom is 3 months just in case. I got 3 little hats, some chupones, I have mittens, a sound machine because hospitals are so loud, and then some socks, and his car seat obviously. Here's an update on nesting. We just got the curtain rods for our room to make sure our room's super dark for when baby Jonah gets here. Hey.
Hi.
Good, see your attempt.
My attempt?
Yeah. Because you guys are watching, he's gonna make sure it happens.
No. It's gonna be hard.
Here's some progress. Ricardo built the dresser today. Hi guys, today we're gonna go over some updates with everything referencing my nesting, my to-do list before baby Jonah gets here. So let's get started. We are in my bedroom now. I'm not gonna pretend like it's the perfect place clean all the time because you guys know it's not. This is what we're looking like right now. As of today, I am 36 weeks and 6 days. So tomorrow I'll be hitting 37 weeks with baby Jonah. Yesterday, Ricardo told me that he picked out the stuff that he wanted to put in our hospital bag. So I wanted to show you guys what he picked out and then if I added any additional items to the bag. This is where we have our hospital bag right now, and that there is his stack of clothes that he picked out. There's not really much to see. He picked out some boxers, he picked out 2 pairs of bottoms, and then it looks like he picked out 2 tops, 2 shirts. When I went into labor with Jude, it was a huge surprise, so we didn't have time to pack any snacks, and I will be packing some snacks, so let me show you. I wanted something with more protein, so I'm gonna pack some of these, and then TikTok Shop got me, and I bought some of these edamame beans, so I'm probably gonna put 2 bags of those, 2 or 3 of these. And then Ricardo has some protein bars here, so we'll pack some of those. And then energy drinks. So Alani's are still my favorite. These are Ricardo's. These are the ones that he usually takes to work or he buys from work. But we're gonna make sure to have some in our bag. This is what I'm planning to take with us. I am also gonna add the energy drinks. Ideally, I would like to take more whole foods, but I don't know when I'm going into labor, so I don't want anything to go bad. I'm thinking of buying some dry fruit. I think that would be I think that would add some good substance to what we're taking. But for right now, this is what we have, so this is what I'm gonna put in the bag. One of the last things that I'll be adding to our hospital bag for Jonah is a Velcro swaddle, the ones that you guys saw that I received in the last video. When Ricardo gets here, I will have him pull the hospital bag up to our bed, have him review it, make sure he feels like we have everything that we need, and then I think we'll be all set with the hospital bag for sure. I wanted to update you guys on if I ended up rehiring a cleaning service, but I didn't. However, I am being more open to receiving help. My suegra, when she found out how much I paid to get our bathrooms cleaned, she was like, hey, like, don't forget, I can help you. So I am taking her up on it. Honestly, I feel like that's big progress because there was one time when Ricardo and I traveled. My suegros were taking care of the house while we were gone, and my suegra, she went out of her way to clean our bathrooms, and I got really offended. I think I was just projecting my insecurity insecurity around feeling like she probably thought I was super dirty. I think that I've noticed so much growth in that department, and so I took her up on her offer. I honestly just want help with mopping and sweeping because that's like the last thing that I get to do. But if she does come by the time you guys get to see this video, I will update you guys. I wanted to show you guys the sleep setup for Jonah that we have right now. So this is the same bassinet that we had for Jude, like you guys know.
This is some clothes that I'm donating.
And we actually installed these curtains here for baby Jonah, because when we had Jude, our room wasn't dark enough and it didn't help her switch her days and nights until way later on. So we got these. I think that the curtain rods are just too small. I don't like the way it looks in here. I also feel like super depressed because I'm so used to my room being so bright. But this is like the little setup that we have, and I don't know, it just looks sad. I told him that I think what will help is if we pull the curtains down and we clip them on so they hang a little bit, like the ones we have in the living room. And then I also want to put them in the dryer to see if I can get these wrinkles out. But this is where baby Jonah will be sleeping for now. We'll see. Here is a big update. The swing has been assembled. It still works. It has little teddy bears that like go right here, but Jude keeps taking them off. But yeah, we have the living room set up for baby Jonah. The baby proofing, there has not been much of an update. I haven't taken anything out of that box. Ricardo has assembled the baby gate, but he hasn't put it on the wall yet, so we still need to do that. I haven't bought anything else for Jonah that I think that we need. The only thing that I'm considering is buying the same sleep training courses that we bought with Jude, because they really helped us out in
very desperate times.
I don't know if we're going to be sleep training Jonah, because I feel like maybe if we start setting the foundation of good sleep as he's a newborn, we won't need to take that extreme measure of sleep training, because sleep training was really hard. And even though I think it was the most beneficial thing for my family, I don't know if I could do it.
Pero eso cambiará cuando ella me vea, girl. Que lo sepa.
Made it to the top of the hill. They sent us home, guys, but look at my hair. It's from the monitoring. I wanted to show you guys my cheeks because it's from being sick, and I think that's why my fluids were so low. Hello, my fearless friends. I'm finally recording this.
And yes, my washer is going. My baby's monitor is also going.
When you're seeing this,
Sorry, I just ate.
that is probably Jonah's spit up. So Jonah is here, and that is why I am essentially 3 weeks late into uploading this video. But I had some questions that I wanted to answer at the end of this video so that I can just kind of wrap up the pregnancy content. This is going to be the last video where I talk about my pregnancy with Jonah, and then the video after this is gonna be my labor and delivery story time. I do have some clips, but I didn't film the whole thing. That will be its own separate video. And then after that, we're just gonna talk what it's been like to be a mom of 2 under 3, a mom with a toddler and a newborn, how postpartum is going, all of that. So as you guys know, I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can. The goal was to hit 1,000 subscribers before Jonah got here. As of today, I think I'm at 854, so we're not quite there yet, but I'm still trying to grow my channel and make this my main source of income. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I've been using the community tab a lot, because that, you know, brings in more exposure to your channel. One of the questions that I asked is, hey, I'm filming the 3rd trimester recap video. Do you guys have any questions? And one of the questions that I got was how to advocate for yourself, because in one of my shorts, I did mention that I had declined all cervix checks up until the day that I went into labor. I think that I really went in on advocating for myself from my first pregnancy. I just learned really early on that my medical team is working for me, and yes, of course, I'm always going to consider their opinion first. However, if I have the ability to ask questions, and if I know that not everything can be a blanket statement. Not every procedure, not every decision is going to align with every person. Then I am allowed to say, no, I don't want that. Or I'm allowed to say, you know, maybe this will work better for me. And that really came into play with my cervix checks, because I also denied all cervix checks up until delivery with Jude. And the only reason that I did that, it wasn't because I was scared of, I know that some people are scared of infection to the baby, but for me it was just mentally, I knew that you could be dilated before you were in active labor for a long time, and I didn't want to play that mental game of, oh, I'm 2 centimeters dilated, so this baby's probably coming within the next week. When you have a due date, I feel like you're already in this mental game. For me, since I went over my due date, I feel like it made me feel more impatient knowing that there was this like due date that I passed. And granted, I know you could have your baby 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, but when you're 40 weeks plus pregnant, you're just like, oh my God, somehow I missed the goal. And I just didn't want to add more stress to myself. But if you guys were wondering, when I went into labor with Jonah, before I even started the Pitocin and got induced, which if you didn't know, I did get induced. You can watch a lot of my most recent shorts. That will give you a little clue into how my labor went. But before the Pitocin even was started, I was already at 3 centimeters dilated. I don't know for how long, but I will tell you that there were lots of nights and there was even a week where I started to feel contractions, and I was like, hey, this feels more intense than Braxton Hicks. So I feel like my body was really good at telling me, you're dilating. I trusted my body, and yeah, sure enough, I was already 3 centimeters dilated. So all of that to say, you advocate for yourself because your medical team is working for you. Their purpose is to make you feel safe and taken care of, and to make your birthing and delivery experience as safe and healthy and good as possible. So I think when you go into your appointments with that mindset, I feel like that's what helped me feel more confident in advocating for myself. Next question is, how is my mental health overall? And overall, this postpartum experience has been so different than with Jude. I really struggled with Jude, which is why I probably didn't film that experience either. I wish I would have, so that I could just look back and be even more grateful that I'm not in that same place. However, I remember what it felt like, and it feels much different than how I feel right now. And I think that a lot of that has to do with all the work that I've done around my self-worth wound, and all the work that I've done in reference to being able to receive help without feeling guilty, without feeling any less worthy. Because this time around, I welcomed all of the visits. I've welcomed all of the care packages. My 𝗿𝗏𝗍 is helping me clean, as you guys know, whenever she has a chance. For some reason, I had it ingrained in my head that I should be able to do everything. And the truth is that I can do everything. And you guys have seen it. I can do all of the things, but I don't want to anymore, because I'm tired, and because when I am doing everything for everyone all at once, I am not the best version of myself or for my family. So now, thinking about that, I really do believe that in order for me to take care of my family in the best way possible, it starts with me. So whenever I start my day, I think about, what do I need? Which it could be more sleep, it could be I need better nutrients, whatever. And I think that that's just really made a big difference. But also, I just feel like the transition from 0 to 1 kids is hard, because you are changing so much of your life and changing so much of your lifestyle, where now going from 1 to 2, I'm already a mom. I already have a routine with my baby, with Jude, and we kind of are just trying to fit Jonah in what we have already had established, if that makes sense. So I think having a routine already in place, plus allowing yourself to receive help and taking care of yourself, and I really truly mean it, like taking care of yourself in the way that you would take care of your best friend, really makes a difference for the postpartum experience. The next question is, how was this third trimester different from my last pregnancy? And if I'm being honest, I think the biggest difference that I noticed was my fatigue. And like I said in previous videos and previous recaps, I don't know if that's just because I have a toddler this time around, and I also live in a bigger space this time around, and we have an upstairs. And Jude's playroom is upstairs, so whenever we would play, we would go upstairs, and I was just exhausted by the end of the day. It did not matter how much help I had, I was still barely getting by. And I will say, being a newborn tired is so much better than being pregnant tired, because I'm also more mobile and it just feels nice to be back in my body. Honestly, it feels like it was so long ago that I was pregnant. I don't even remember what else was different this time.
A few moments later.
I thought of a couple of other things. So when I was pregnant with Jude and I was in my third trimester, I started to swell a month before I delivered her. Whereas with Jonah, I was barely starting to swell when I had to deliver him. Whenever I was induced, I was 38 weeks and 2 days pregnant. And with Jude, I was 36 weeks when I started to swell. So that was something else that I thought was pretty interesting. I also feel like just in general, I didn't grow as much with Jonah as I did with Jude. I am starting to feel like a lot of the old wives' tales about gender and pregnancy are actually true. But yeah, as far as I could remember, the biggest difference was just the fatigue and the swelling. So the reason that I actually ended up doing this section of the video is because I got this question here and I was like, okay, yeah, this would fit perfect into a third trimester recap video, but TMI questions. So I don't feel like I was more gassy than usual. I'm trying to think of like TMI questions or like TMI symptoms that I experienced during my third trimester. One thing that we can say is like TMI is my sex life during the third trimester. So as you guys know, I think I mentioned that I was still able to complete mission within the second trimester, whereas my first pregnancy, I was unable to reach that point by the second trimester. With this pregnancy, it was different. I think I was able to go pretty far into my pregnancy before it started to get uncomfortable, because another thing that would happen is every time I would reach that point, I would cramp. And eventually it was just too uncomfortable. So I think at 36 weeks is basically when I stopped trying to reach that point within intimacy. But we were also able to stay intimate up until I delivered Jonah. So that's the only thing that I can think of that is like TMI, because again, I didn't experience more gas. I guess another thing is I feel like I got more constipated this pregnancy, especially in the third trimester. And then once I started getting closer to delivery, even though I was induced, I ended up going to the bathroom a lot and not peeing, like going both pretty frequently. And I've heard that that's also a symptom of your body getting ready for labor. So who knows, but that is something that I did experience. So I have two more questions. One of them is, how did I feel mentally knowing that I was going to be delivering earlier than what I had expected? Because if you guys remember from the very beginning, I had been dealing with pregnancy complications with my placenta and baby's umbilical cord. Now I know how to pronounce it, but it's the 𝗿𝗲𝗔 cord is what I was diagnosed with very early on. And there's quite a few complications that can happen, including postpartum bleeding, which if you are new here, I actually suffered from a postpartum hemorrhage with my first baby. This is what I gathered, but basically the umbilical cord is not as strong when delivering blood flow, oxygen, and nutrients to the baby. With every contraction, the pulse of all of those things going to the baby could actually make the cord break, which obviously is not healthy for the baby, can cause stillbirth. So I was very on edge with all of that. But because of that, I was already mentally preparing for an early delivery. I wanted to try to go for 40 weeks or further if I had to, as long as I was healthy and Jonah was healthy. But in my head, I knew, hey, if it comes down to it and they tell me you have to deliver early, then I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna do what's best for me and my baby. So yes, the induction did make me feel sad because I was still deterring from the plan that I had originally, but at the same time, I think thinking back to how I had prepared for the 𝗿𝗲𝗃 cord, I was already preparing for it. Because the reason that I had to be induced was not due to the 𝗿𝗲𝗃 cord, it was due to low fluid levels, which now we can go into the next question, which is how did I know that I was going into labor? And I didn't, because I unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to let my body go into labor on its own. I did have to be induced. And there's much more to this story that I will be sharing in next week's video, which is going to be my labor and delivery story time, but that is going to be in the next one. And yeah, we are done with this video. Finally, I'm glad to be done with it so I can move on to the next one and hopefully get back to posting consistent long form content. But if you want to keep up with me otherwise, I'm always active on Instagram and I upload on shorts almost every single day. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much if you got this far into the video. I love you guys so much and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and make sure you're staying fearless.